the wealth gap is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is just naturally the way that it goes. The wealthy people are getting wealthier and the middle class are staying where they are, and it is going to get. So the way that I look at this, I could either get angry at the money system and say, oh, it's rigged. You know, the wealthy people keep getting wealthier. Or I could say, all right, I'm gonna beat them at this game. I'm gonna play this game too. I'm gonna do it with good intentions as a soul-led woman, and I'm going to empower my kids, and I'm gonna give them a head start.
I am here with the gorgeous Michelle Rule, the millionaire maker. I'm so excited for you guys to listen to this chat because us money queens, oh my gosh, the chats are going to be deep. It's going to be so much fun. Welcome to Wealthy as Fuck, the podcast, Michelle.
Yes, thank you, Kim Ken. Honestly, thank you so much for having me. What a discussion this is going to be. Is everyone ready for this?
So, Michelle, first, before we dive into the juicy questions and conversations, tell us a little bit about you and how you became the millionaire maker.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I never thought this would be me sitting here talking about money because I didn't come from money. I didn't have the best start to money. I was taught, both my parents are teachers. So I was taught, you get the degree, you work hard, head out to the corporate world and chase that income, which is what I did. And by 25, I was, the top ad agency, account manager and high income, and I was getting in credit card debt. I had a really terrible relationship with money. I didn't want to look at it. I didn't want anything to do with it. I was actually a bit annoyed, to be fair, at the money system as a whole. So I left that all. I went into a phase of my life where I started working on energetics, learning Reiki, learning pranic healing, and had the most beautiful time, to be honest, at the same time as starting a young family and building an IT company with my husband. So funnily enough, it wasn't until my son was born in 2015, and that's when I revisited money again, because I soon realized, well, if I want to be home with my beautiful baby, how am I going to do that if I don't have the resources to allow myself to step away from work from a bit? So that's what started it all. So that, I would say, a decade ago is when I started investing, really just made the conscious decision that I was going to figure out how to build wealth, that I was done sort of playing victim and being angry at money. And I was like, I'm going to figure this out. Like I need to learn how to build wealth. So that's what we did. We became investors, and my husband and I started purchasing properties. And yeah, so the IT company we still have, it's a beautiful multi-million-dollar company now, which has been such a ride over 13 years. And yeah, I guess I'm at the stage now, a year ago, having seen what wealth can do and how it can absolutely transform your life if you understand how to flow your cash, how to buy assets, and really the energetics behind it. That's what just made me so obsessed to come and speak about this message. So I've spent, the last 12 months helping as many women as I can and getting on in the podcast. And so thank you for having me and having this chat really with me today.
Love it. I want to say, I'm pretty sure you're slightly older than me, purely based off 10 years ago when you started the tech company. I was still like a little baby, kind of.
I love it. I'm 41, so yes. And it's all good, because 40 is really when this next legacy chapter came for me, because that's when I hit financial freedom. And turning 40, financially free, like, do I want to retire? Like, that didn't feel right. I wanted to contribute. So 40 really was a turning point where I thought, right, I'm going to dedicate this next sort of decade to what I call my legacy or my mission and see where it takes me. Have a bit of fun.
I love this. And the reason I said that is because we walked the same, like my story is the same as yours. Like I did the uni thing. It technically was it's the corporate system, but I was an exercise physiologist. So it was with like rehabilitation and health, but it's still, when you're getting to work for someone else, like it's still the same system. It's still the same setup. And, we did that because you thought, hey, we're going to earn shitloads of money. But did we? And the credit card thing, this is why I mean, like, you guys listening, you're not alone. Like you're exactly, I can't even get my words out because I know exactly what I want to say. But I can get them out fast. but I've walked, like you walked a bit quicker, like you did it first, and I lived that same pattern. And I love it that we're out here to break that. We're about to break that generational hand-me-down bullshit, as I like to call it. So one thing not one thing, there's multiple things, but one of the things I really want to pick your brain about, which I find how we're how we're different. So a lot of the stuff we do is the same because, guys, money, it's universal. It's universal law. Like, we just explain it slightly different maybe. Talk to me about your relationship and property and what that means to you and why it makes sense to you and what excites you with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I say, people often ask me, the stock market or property, which one do I do? Either or. And I don't see it as an either or. I see it as, so long as we are putting money into assets, that's a big, big, huge tick. Because the only way we're going to beat inflation, the only way we're going to be able to grow our money without trading our time for money is to put our money in assets. And that's really all it is. It's a vehicle to grow, to hold your wealth and to grow your wealth. And you get to the point, we have 5 properties now. We've got plans probably for a few more, but we also have shares. We've got some crypto, animation growing, like all of the things. And I just think once we can get that mindset shift between thinking that we just need to earn more, to realizing that, yes, chase the money, like beautiful. Like if you can heal your relationship with money, love it for what it can do for you and call in money, more and more money. Absolutely. I'm all for additional income streams. But at the same time, it's okay, well, how are we going to flow our cash? Where are we going to put it? We're going to flow it to make us feel wealthy today. So what we're spending and having fun and yes, do all of that, but also just flow some off to assets. And every single dollar in my brain, every dollar I put into an asset, I never have to earn that money again. My kids never have to earn that money. So this is generational wealth. Like this is a place to put your money where it grows for me. It grows faster than I even need to spend it. Like our whole portfolio at the moment each year is growing at about $600,000. How do we even, from a girl who is in debt, that is struggling month to month, like how do we comprehend the power of assets? Which is like, again, why I'm so passionate about speaking about it, because I think if we really and truly realize how powerful assets are, the wealthy understand this, right? Then we can play that game too. And I believe that all the soul-led queens, like all the beautiful humans out there, deserve access to this information too. So for us, property, the question was why property? It comes down to leverage. And I can chat more about that if you want, but really, property for us is a beautiful way to grow our cash in the early start of our investing life. And later on, we'll start focusing more on the stock market and then perhaps even just filtering some more profits into our superannuation as life goes on. But that's pretty much the pattern that we're doing. Is property first, stock market second, and anything, if we want, we can pop into super.
Tell me the first property you bought, like when you first, like did you buy your own home first and then bought the investment, or and tell me how was that? Because I feel like when you buy your first home, it's different. Like you're going to go move into it. It's different when it's the energy of now I'm buying an investment property. Like this is the asset, even though your own home is an asset. I'd love to know this first step of this journey of yours.
I love this so much. So my husband and I, we met very young, actually. I was 20 when I met my husband, and we had the best time, traveled around, lived our best life, and never bought a property. So we were renting for years and years. And it wasn't until I was married, we got married, I was 26, 27. And then we started thinking, hang on, maybe we need to buy a house. Like we just kept thinking maybe the market will correct itself. We kept getting told that we were in a bubble and it was, just wait for prices to come down and then you can get in. And it just didn't seem like that was happening. So at some point, closer to when I was 30 is when we just purchased a house, honestly, to live in. And at the time, we didn't feel ready. We struggled to get, enough of a deposit to even get something. We certainly couldn't live in the area we wanted to live in, but we also didn't want to overcapitalize in our brain. So we knew nothing about investing. We just wanted a home to live in. And so we picked a beachside suburb, but further north on a bigger block that we thought it's an old house. It's a big block. If something happens to the market, at least we can subdivide it and live on one half of it. Like our little brains were like scrambling to think, how can we get ahead in this game? Because it just felt like it was getting away from us. And then, you know, by chance, a few years into that, the Perth market did nothing for a decade. So that home that we bought, if anything, decreased a little bit in value. It did nothing for a decade. You know, and what I've learned about property since is that is very typical, very normal. We tend to go on about a 20-year cycle from each capital city. So long as you're not selling, you're not going to lose out. You just got to hold the course. But that wasn't helping because I thought I'm going to make money on my first property and then I'm going to go buy the dream home, which is like you actually can't do that as such. We can make money in property if we have multiple properties, but if we always just have one, then we're going to have to sell that to get the bigger mortgage and sell that to get the bigger mortgage. And actually, you're never going to get ahead. So that's what happened. And that property then became an investment property. So we started to learn about how to actually become rent investors. So we rent now and we purchase properties. So that's how we made that one an investment property, and then went on to rent and purchase properties.
That's where we're at. Like we invested. It was always meant to be an investment. At first, it was a new build. It was a subdivision. It was in good old Nullamara. So Perthies know where that is. And I grew up in Midland, like even in like not even as nice as Midland, just outside. And I moved away from that lower socioeconomic area to move then into, like, no offense to Nullers, but look, in the 3 years we lived there was like 3 murders around the corner near our house, and it's just hectic, right?
Actually taught at Nullamara Primary School for about 3 years there. So, you know, I had my work cut out for me there, but yeah.
But we moved in because then, like, we already planned to do the build. We'd already signed the contract. We got in and like a tiny little 3x2 on just shy of 200 square meters, like little shoebox. But then COVID happened, and, you know, the blessing for us is the government gave us some money that we didn't actually need for the house because we already had the house. So we're like, well, sure, let's live in it. If you can give us 45 grand just to live in Nullamara, sure. So we did that. And the most beautiful thing is we saw that, like, again, the market doubled. So we, like, in 2 years doubled what we paid. But, and that's the thing, right? We buy the cheaper house or the smaller house and to sell it to then get what we wanted to be our dream home. But as the market increases, we're in the 7-figure family home, but I'm like, I still don't have ocean views. What's my 7 figures getting me these days? But we're at the point now where, okay, do we become rent investors? Do we just use the equity to buy the next house, or do we actually go rent so I can get my ocean views and then, you know, fix up this house that's got things that needs doing? So I love that. I guess I love hearing this. If anyone's listening, like, oh, what's going to be my strategy? Obviously, we probably should have disclaimed this at the start, you know, not financial advice, guys. But if you're thinking about this or you're hearing it more, it's like it's super common to do. And I guess, how did you find, so you became rent investors and rented out that, and so you've always rented since and just bought property as like the fun part.
And, you know, this was another mindset shift. And this is where, honestly, building wealth, changing your relationship with money, changing the way that you see money, you know, like you say, as this fuel, as this tool, as this thing that we can lever in different environments. It's once you kind of break out of what everyone else is doing, which is purchase the home, pay off the mortgage, save the super, which is fine. That will get you a life where you can trade your time for money, continue to earn, pay down your mortgage. Then you've got a home. So yes, we have an asset, we have a home to live in, but we can't use that wealth because we need to live in it. So, and you've got your super, and it's fine. That's fine. But what I've learned is we can do a whole lot better than that. We can really, like, leverage what we currently have to grow our wealth for decades and decades, grow our wealth without trading more time for money. So the rent investing, yes, it was a mindset shift. I didn't want to do it to start with. I was like, what? Like, you're going to move me out of my home and I want to go get, you know, the city beach house was my dream. I'm like, if we just sell all this and get the big mortgage. But once I actually said, sat down and looked at my big long-term net wealth map and I went, okay, so if I do this and I plotted on my map, okay, this is my current asset. If I add another property in 2 years, add another property in 2 years, add another one in 2 years, mapped it out. And I just saw this line. So rather than doing this, I'm now doing this. And I'm thinking, oh, now it's actually become a little bit more desirable. Maybe I can like handle renting, and this home we're in now, beachside suburb, we've recently moved a few months ago. Like, it feels like my home. I love this home. And people say, okay, that's dead money when you're renting. It is. But the other thing that's dead money is the interest that you pay on any house that you have. So even if it's your own home, you pay off the principal and the interest. Well, the interest portion of that is always going to be dead money. That's just, it doesn't get you anything. So it's actually, for us, comparably, what we would pay on interest here, it is cheaper to rent. And therefore, we're able to use all our cash into properties. Yeah.
It's like if dead money, if you can't avoid, say, the dead money, then it's like, how do I make dead money? How do I make it come alive? How do I make it work for me? If it's going to be someone else renting out my property and they're paying the interest and the principal on that, and then it's building equity, and then I can reinvest that. Like, it's smart. But I think when we've grown up in scarcity, which, I don't think anyone listening to this hasn't, because they wouldn't be attracted to this podcast. We've grown up thinking money is a limited resource. It's going to run out. And then when we shift into, oh my gosh, money's our best friend, money is unlimited, we can make it work for us. Like, what was the point? Like, did you have an exact moment of the mindset? So, like, obviously you saw the stats and you did that. And guys, I think what's really good, this, I know this from learning, that even though it all starts and finishes in the mindset, we do need that outside data to kind of give us that confidence and that evidence. But did you have an actual like aha epiphany moment, like when the neural pathways changed? Like, do you remember that moment?
Look, honestly, I think I went into this with more of a sense of desperation. Like, I've got to try something. I had a newborn child. I had no assets to my name. I felt like we'd started too late, but it was already in my 30s. And it was just that feeling of, well, we have an IT company, we had cash coming in, but if anything happened to either of us, it's game over. Like, the cash would stop coming in. So I think it just came from that realization that mama's instinct, I need to provide and I need to figure this out. And once I learned about investing, I looked at, like you said, the stats. I looked at the data, and this was the birth of my net wealth maps, these spreadsheets I still use with my clients. I'm like, if you just plot out the data, yes, we get our financial advisors. Yes, we get everyone around to have a look at what we want to create, but we decide what we want to create. We decide, are you going for 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million? Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? And then actually looking at it, looking at ways where you can make that happen. So I would say I went into it with the strategy knowing that it could work, but there was absolutely no guarantees that it was going to work. So I would say the mindset shift, it really only clicked into gear, funnily enough, I would say, like, third property in, and, we've got 5 now. I think I was like, oh, I think this is actually not going to go away. Like, I can be safe with this. We're good. Everything is continuing to do what it should be doing. And, that's just one of those things. So it's like, by taking action, by just being brave and taking action and saying, you know what, there is no guarantees, but that's life. There is no guarantees. So we can either sit there in inaction, do nothing, saying, oh, well, there's no guarantees this is going to work. Or we say, well, there isn't, but I'm going to try this because this is more exciting than doing nothing at all. And then just let the data play out and adapt as you go.
Because it's all about that risk tolerance, right? Risk aversion, whatever you want to call it. Everyone experiences this journey different. Some people need, and I think I definitely needed to get the mindset right, like really eliminate those stories before I took the action. But then there hits a point, like there's always going to be fucking stories running the show. But you're the proof of, do you know what? My brain was still kind of worried. There was still the doubt, but I still trusted. Like, you took that embodiment, which is where the energetics come in, the healthy feminine, that even though it was scary, you trusted anyway. And I do believe that, well, anyone with scarcity, money issues, we have a trust issue. We literally do not trust the relationship we have with money. And it's like not trusting your partner or your husband, and that's doomed. If there's no trust, it's doomed. So I love you sharing that you're the walking evidence of if someone listening right now is in this space of, oh, fuck, I need the 3 houses first, but like, got to get there. It's like trust. Michelle's a perfect example of this. Trust, just do it. It catches up. Like,
Absolutely. Gosh, it applies to just so much in life, doesn't it? And I think once you get good at this and you start to build that trust with yourself, you're like, actually, I've got this. No matter what's going to happen. Of course, yes, risk mitigation. We want to look at, well, what's the worst case scenario? And we always had our backup plan. If property 1 and 2 didn't work, we'll sell one of them and just, try again or try something different. So there's always, okay, what would I do if things went bad? So you've always got that in the back of your mind, what your plan B is. But if you go all in on it working and you trust yourself that if anyone can make this work, you can make this work. Why not? Why not you? And so I suppose if nothing else from this message, it's maybe people think that those who've made it felt like it was guaranteed or felt like it should have been easy, or it wasn't. It never felt guaranteed. It didn't feel like something that was handed to me. It was a decision. And it's that decision energy. It's I just decided, because of the strength and that love I had for my son. It was that moment that my emotions were at the point where I was like, I'm doing this. Like, I'm doing this, that sort of like unstoppable energy. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to do it. And so if we can cultivate that in any way that we need to, just cultivate it for yourself, then surround yourself with people with the knowledge that can help you. And then you'll have that confidence just to keep taking that next step. I mean, you know the story. We don't get to the top of the staircase, right, by running the whole way up. We just take a step, reassess. I've got strength. Let's go again. And that's how it's happened. Slippery slope to 5 properties and beyond.
Tingles. Like, we have to decide, you know what? And this is what I tell myself, and my brain goes in a crazy place. I'm like, fucking meteor could crash right now, and everything's wiped out anyway. Or we actually don't know the future. And I think one big thing is like turn off the news, turn off all the media that's fear mongering, that the economy or the market, because it's wanting you to stay safe and stay scared, and that makes you more broke. It keeps you small. It keeps you deflating with the cash you have in the bank, right? Because inflation rates are still money's being printed every day. And I love to share this because my biggest thing was learning that money is unlimited. When we grow up with it, it's going to run out. It's limited. At one point, it was actually limited. They did used to burn it. So there wasn't as much inflation, but now they don't. I'm like, it's literally printed every day. Great news for us. There's always more to be made. Scary thing, we say scary, so you make moves and decisions, is that the cash you have in the bank in a year's time is going to be able to buy less. So it's devaluing because inflation is increasing. So I just so many questions I wanted to ask you. I think this is going to save some people time, and we all want to save time. Because we save time, we make more money, or however you want to say it. People come to you. What's the first thing that you ask them or get them to do? Because obviously they come to you like, I want the millions, I want the outcome, I want all the property. What do you get them to do?
Well, honestly, without that energy behind where you are going, without really asking some deeper questions about why we're building the wealth and what vision it actually is to have a wealthy life, not wealth just for money in the bank account, but what would the wealth do for you? So really developing a strong why. Okay, why do you want it? And for everyone, this looks different. Like I have clients, women that are traveling around Australia. They have no desire to live in one house. They want to be free and to travel, and they want assets growing in the background so that it can allow them to travel. And then I've got other women that want to build out absolute empires in the corporate world, and they want to be smart with their money and make sure they're leveraging all the assets that they can leverage on their journey up. So for whatever it is, it doesn't have to be one particular path. And I would say, unless we really get in touch with what it is that you want, what you truly want, not what your mum wants, your friends want, what you actually want, then we can actually have a chance at getting there, because that's what's going to hold you through, is that vision of what wealth is going to do for you. So those are the questions we ask, and we come up with the financial freedom number. So depending on how much income they would love to have every year without working, I just look at this as a rough, like, asset-based situation. So, if your asset base spat off 5%, well, you'd probably do better than 5%. Let's just say you wanted to use 5% of it per year. Well, we come up with a financial freedom number. So is your asset-based goal going to be 5 million, which is what ours was to start with, or is it going to be 50 million? Like, those plans are going to look so different. So before I can even set them up with financial planners or buyer's agents or anyone, I need to have the conversation with them about what it is that they're hoping to build. And then we can go from there, because it's going to look very different for everyone.
That's it, because we read the books, we read the $20 books, we listen to all the free stuff, and we try and find a cookie cutter that we fit into, right? And I always found when we do the masculine, right? So let me backtrack. When you come to me, when you come to you, like, we have to sort out the feminine energetics first. Whether you're male, female, it doesn't matter. The feminine part is the why, the emotion, the drive, like the human experience, the reason you're doing it. But then the doing part is the masculine. What's the strategy? What's the processes? And that kind of has more of a cookie cutter in, like, there's principles, there's a structure. It might not look like your cookie shape will look different to my cookie shape, but it's still cut by you know what I mean, right? And I know people want that. But I now lost my question, because I really wanted to talk about that. But there's we're chasing the cookie cutter. We want this. So I guess people now, even before they come and work with, like, they're like, oh my gosh, I need Michelle in my life. But everyone needs some Michelle in their life. Already start thinking of this. And also, I'm pretty sure we're putting it in the show. It will be in the show notes. You have a calculator that we can get this number.
Yeah, that's right. A free calculator. And I think this was the beginning of my journey. Is I actually sat down with an advisor, and they said, well, what are we aiming for? If we're going to use property, how big are we building? And it just never occurred to me. So it's a simple calculator, free calculator, where you can just plug in how much income you'd love every year, and then it will tell you your asset base. Well, that was the first time in my life I'd even thought about it like that. I'd never thought of assets sustaining my life, of assets paying my way. It wasn't that. It was, what income do I need to earn, and how much, do I need to save or store away in my super, which there's nothing against that, but there are other options out there too that you can leverage and grow your money faster. So yeah, why not?
I think I've actually seen you share this, and it's, once you hear it, it's almost like a common sense. People come to you and they think that they need to have more in assets to get their cash flow amount than what they actually do, right? I feel like this is where we're in a delusion. If we don't know our numbers, we'll be like, oh fuck, I need to have like $50 million worth of assets to even have the freedom. When you work it out, it's like, actually you only need this amount to hit that goal. This is something that you help people get really clear with.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, whether they think it's more or less, I actually thought it was, in my mind, I thought I just needed $1 million in my super, like each, so maybe 2 million. And that would be the ultimate dream. Like, that's what I had grown up thinking. I must have heard it somewhere along the line. Maybe my parents saying, just make sure you get to the million in your super and you'll be set. When I came up with my financial freedom number, it was 5 million. I panicked. I thought, well, how am I going to do that? This isn't saving 5 million in cash. That's
yes.
Remember, my asset portfolio makes me $600,000 per year in growth. So I'm not saving that. And that's not even the companies making profits. This is just my assets growing. So this is where it's like, oh, 5 million, how am I going to do that? You don't do that. The assets do that. So it's just about understanding how to get that to work.
Oh, I love this, because we don't get taught this. We don't get taught to think like this. And I was always this child, I just got to save. I just got to get money in the bank, which I think is crucial, because I'd love to know your opinion on this. I think it's going to be very similar. My opinion is still and this is how I help women, is like, at the end of the day, you want to buy assets, but if you don't have some liquid to play with, you're gambling, or you're putting a lot on the line. And the moment you do that and it becomes a gamble energy, you're like, fuck, if it doesn't pay off, what if I lose it? You're emotional. You're more likely to lose it anyway. Do you talk about this, or do you have we're not meant to recommend, but if you have a recommendation, like I usually work out like, I'm not sorry, where am I going with this? It's subjective because everyone has a different amount of liquid they want in the bank. What's your thoughts and what do you talk about and share around this? Where I was going.
Yeah, cash flow. Like this is all cash flow. So where assets is a big part of wealth, and I talk about the three wheels of wealth, like assets, yes, but cash flow. And who's going to teach people how to do personal cash flow? Like where were they when I was growing up? They weren't there. So yes, I have business cash flow as well, right? It's like, Kim, where were you? So, instead of understanding how to flow my cash and how to track things, I was off using credit cards and the number in my bank account to figure out if I could afford things, which is obviously not the way we do it. So I would say, yes, we need to understand what money's coming in. We need to know our inflow. What is the total inflow in cash? We need to look at what's coming out. Like, what is the outflow? And it's not from a space of restriction. Trust me, I've done it. I thought if I just cut the coffees and did all that I would get there. The other point is, though, it will never be starting the journey and getting your first asset set up is always going to be the hardest that you'll ever go through. So yes, it's going to feel a little clunky as you start. It's never that hard again. So, purchasing our first property felt really scary, or purchasing your first assets, or really understanding your cash flow. As time goes on and equity starts to build, things get a whole ton easier. So don't let that first feeling of needing to get the deposit or needing to do whatever make you fool you into thinking you're not worthy of it and you're not good enough. You are. I used to think because I can't save money and I was hopeless at saving that I was just doomed to never have money. But as soon as I understood, actually, it's about flowing my money where I want it to go, setting some targets to what I needed to flow to get the assets, it was a complete game changer because I'm great at spending money. So if I can spend it on assets, well, that's a win. So yes, I would say cash flow, absolutely. We all need to know. I'm in there every single month for all the properties, the whole spreadsheet. I need to know where everything's going or I'm flying blind, and I have my Queen account. You see me out shopping and living my best life. Well, that's still a cash flow category. I still know it's a chunky amount, sure, and it grows as my life grows, but it's an amount. It's not just flying around with no idea, blindfolded. Intentional spending, and I have no guilt around that. I feel good about that, and then it works.
I guess because I think our advice is going to be similar as well. We all want to get to that end result. Like I'm at point A now, and point B is I get the thousands of dollars a month to go buy the shoes and get my nails done because my assets are building. But there's this interim. It's like the diamonds are made under pressure. There's some pressure you have to put on. So if it could feel like restriction when we're not in the right mindset, but I call it empowered sacrifice. So it's the short term for the long term gain. And I was like these too, like I wanted to go spend lavishly, but then that's when people look rich on the outside, but it looks a lot different behind the scenes. But I think we need to know, we have to give ourselves that timeline of, okay, I'm going to set a goal. I'm going to be really intentional. What can I empoweredly reduce right now so I can buy the assets? And then it's like the benefit or the side effect of buying the assets, the overflow then goes and fills up my Queen account, which I think it's a good reminder for people. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so look, and I do think this is where energetics comes and plays a huge part too. And if you are open-minded enough to realize that money truly is unlimited on this planet, there are trillions of dollars. Just go take another scoop, learn, use your skills, use your superpowers. Search your environment, spot opportunity. Is there a way we can bring more income in with ease? So there is, to me, unlimited opportunities to bring in income. And as I've gone through life, I've realized I can magnetize more and more, but it's because I have the evidence of now my whole energetic system knows that I can do it. And so therefore I'm doing it. So it's just starting those wheels in motion. I get it. So in those early days, if we're still rebuilding our relationship with money and we're getting to a point where we can trust that it's going to come in ever greater amounts, and the greater number of people I serve, the greater my capacity for wealth, then we start where we start. We filter how we need to filter. Once everything is set as best we can, then use that extra energy to open up. I see it like opening up like like a flower would when the bees are coming. It's like, just open up, ask for more, just search your environment, because more income, more inflow, when you're in alignment and when you're feeling magnetic and empowered and inspired, can be a whole lot better than micromanaging and trying to, cut the costs there. But it's give and take. You've really got to ebb and flow between all of the aspects of money. So it's not to say that we don't look at where our expenses are going. But if we get to a point and we're like, honestly, I've looked at all my expenses, there's nothing because this was me. I'm like, I got to the point I'd stopped getting my hair done every 8 weeks back then. I'd stretch out my hair appointments, just trying to make the money stretch and stretch and stretch. And I got to the point I realized, you know what? There's no amount of stretching these dollars that's going to make me feel abundant. I need to set it. Okay, this is the best I can do right now. And now I need to go on and look that I'm worthy to earn more, to bring more in with ease and flow, not through sacrificing myself, but through understanding that every single one of us has unique gifts, skills, and talents. There's something magic about you. You're in your magic. There's something magic about everyone who's listening. And if we can find what that thing is that you love to do, that you would do even if you weren't getting paid, that is exactly where you're going to make the most money you've ever made before.
It's such a good reminder that, like, there's just work to be done. There's work to be done. You're going to be magnetic. I attract the opportunities. And then it's also about being the person who, you might have the old stuff come up still because, thanks mum and dad and the generational hand-me-downs of the scarcity is so ingrained, like, in us, even though we're working through it. We have to know in those moments, like when we've invested and had put an offer on this house, I would much rather put less than 7 figures on this house because we had to put money into it, right? But we wanted it. It stretched me and it felt like I could feel oh my God, you're going to run out of money. You're going to, all that come up. But it's in those moments we get to decide, comes back to that deciding, am I going to be a victim of this? Am I going to succumb to it? Am I going to hold out? Or trust it, move through it, know that this is the steps. And it gets easier and easier. Like, that's something, you're on your 5th house, you're like, next house is like just another Tuesday. It's like brushing teeth.
To normalize the stretch, I'm so glad you talked about that. My entire life has always been me playing at the edges of what I thought that I could possibly do. That is the space of growth. And I mean, even with money, like stretching to investing in myself, in my business, in really going all in to the point of, I know I'll be okay. Like, I'm not going to like just totally tip over and put too much that I can do, but it's never like I'm going to play it safe and just put a bit that I feel like is comfortable. No, I'm always playing right to the edges of my comfort zone. And then funnily enough, more and more money will come in and more money goes out as you're investing in business, and more money's coming in your business. Well, you're going to get used to more money coming out too. That's part of it. And there's more profits and there's more everything. Everything gets amplified. So it's always just about start to feel comfortable knowing that it's so normal to be on your stretch. And, the next time you get the next home, you'll look back on that and say, yeah, that was a stretch, but now we're doing this home. And I look back, if I didn't stretch myself there, then I wouldn't likely be on this next track. I would have settled. I would have stayed at the same size, which is fine. We can do that. But if we want to grow, we have to live in that space of stretch.
It's like growing pains, right? No one wants growing pains, but it's like, what's harder? What's hard is I want to catch up with my girlfriend I haven't seen forever, or it's her birthday and I want to take her out for dinner, but shit, I better check my online banking and see if I need to move money around. And oh my gosh, do you know what? I'll push out fuel and I'll drive on empty a little bit longer. No judgment. I drive on empty because I'm lazy. Right? Not because I can't afford it. But those behaviors, that's what's more uncomfortable than the stretchy pains. Like me feeling like I can't afford it, or then having the guilt because I want the thing. I'm like, it's fucking exhausting. And we pass that on to our kids. If we don't change, we pass it on to our kids. I don't care what you say of like, oh, but I tell them about money and how to save and all that. They're not learning from you telling them. They're learning from your behavior, your role modeling. And I think that's one of the biggest things, but like you and myself becoming mothers, it's just so much more than ourselves now. And look, having kids does give you that extra kick up the butt to like, it's not just about us, but it's just physical legacy there now. Like the legacies are born. We want to make sure they don't struggle like we did. Like we were us, what are we, millennials?
Yeah.
Get the handouts when we turned 18, you know, it's go fend for yourself, get a credit card and hope you can retire without mortgage.
And as the generations go on, like we really do need to understand that it's not even the fact that, oh, well, if we don't do it, maybe our kids will figure it out. It's actually going to get, I don't want to say harder, but the wealth gap is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is just naturally the way that it goes. The wealthy people are getting wealthier and the middle class are staying where they are. And it is going to get, so the way that I look at this, I could either get angry at the money system and say, oh, it's rigged. You know, the wealthy people keep getting wealthier. Or I can say, all right, I'm gonna beat them at this game. I'm gonna play this game too. I'm gonna do it with good intentions as a soul-led woman, and I'm going to empower my kids and I'm gonna give them a head start. Like although they are learning and they will need to find ways to earn money, find how to use their gifts to go and be productive and serve society. They're not gonna, just get handouts, but they are gonna have generational wealth that will then start to stack. And then we're going to teach them not only how to invest, and as soon as the pay packets come in, how are we splitting that up to invest from day one, but then obviously going on to their kids. And so I think if we are in the position right now, whoever's listening to this, where you can give them a head start. And I think that honestly, another 10, 20, 30 years from now, our kids trying to buy homes, we all think that it's always just going to be affordable. It doesn't actually work that way. Like you look at other capital cities across the world, it isn't affordable to purchase your own home. So I think we need to be aware that that is what's happening. The wealthier getting wealthier. And so we really need to empower ourselves with information on how money truly works and just start today. Just give them a head start.
If the wealthy are getting wealthier, our scarcity victim ego goes, oh man, it's lucky enough. Because you're just trying to make yourself feel better. But whenever we're jealous or triggered, it's actually just a sign that we actually want that. So it's like, I'm like, how can I join it? And it's like when I built my network marketing business back in the day, people are like, oh, it's a pyramid scheme. I'm like, oh, sweet. Watch me go to the top. And I took it to the top, and it's not a pyramid. And like, if I stayed in the corporate world, unless I became CEO of a company, I'm now CEO of my own company, so there you go. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like, don't beat them, join them, or whatever that saying is. Like,
yeah,
become that person. Because if you've got a good soul and good intentions, do it from love, and like, this is what it's about, getting more money in the hands of good people. You're not going to fuck your kids up. And we don't want to, how do I say this? We didn't get handouts because back then, there's a two type of rich, I guess. This is like it's probably gray area, but whatever. The two type of rich, like it's the kids that get the handouts, and there's that level of entitlement. Everyone has entitlement anyway. There is that, but we know, like, we've come from having to earn, we self-made. We were self-made. We didn't get the handouts. We did this. So when we're going to duplicate this and teach it, we're not just giving the handouts. We're like, how can our kids get ahead? And we'll have a good start. But like, it's family wealth. I'm only going to benefit when my child learns how to invest. Like, it's all connected. Like, I'm only going to benefit if that makes sense.
Exactly. I agree. And, the thoughts, because I had the same thoughts when I was younger. We'd go, we grew up in Willerton in it was the sticks back in the day. And we would go walking along Charlotte Foreshore and I'd see all these mansions, these big homes. And I thought, well, I would, ask mum, I'm like, well, why can't we live in those homes? They look amazing. Like, I want to live there. And it didn't seem fair because those people didn't seem to be working any harder than my parents, who were absolutely working hard. They were both teachers. My dad also wrote chemistry books. He was tutoring after school, like 3 incomes for him alone, and then mum's as well. So I'm seeing my parents work so hard. So it did feel unfair. Now that we know that, what are we going to do about that? Because I've said again that the assets they will make you money for doing nothing. So it's unfair in a way. If you can get your hands on assets, that's what's going to happen. So we can either get angry at it, and trust me, I did it for ages. Or we can just say, you know what, I'm gonna smarten up and say, I deserve that too. My kids deserve that, and the next generations deserve that. And we're going to teach them to be good humans and imagine what they're going to do with their life without that trading, that fear that they have to get to that job that is, you know, destroying their soul, the boss that they hate. They're not going to have that experience. They're going to be taught how to serve, how to help people, how to use their gifts. Like, that is a better world for me. I think that is a place that we should all be aiming for.
And this is what we work so hard for. We're just breaking the paradigm of wait until you're 60 and you retire and then go travel and explore when your knees are all creaky and your back's sore, and you know they definitely need lots of sunscreen or the skin cancer will pop up. Like, that's the old paradigm. Now it's let's enjoy the life. Now, how do we do that? And look, I grew up with, we had the rich uncle, right? Oh, he's snobby. He's the snobby rich uncle. I'm now, like, since I did healed my relationship with money, I'm like, I need to hang out with my uncle. Like, he wasn't snobby. He was probably just fucking sick of hearing the victim pour me about money. Everything's expensive. And I was that person. So I guess I wanted to share with this. You might be thinking and listening right now and being like, but if I become that person and I get wealthier, people aren't going to love me. I'm afraid of, like, my parents are going to be annoyed. My family are going to reject me. Yes, there's a level of energetic rejection because you've stepped up a wavelength. You've evolved. But your parents and your family just want the best for you, actually. And you can't have a loss without a gain. Like, I had to go through that of, do you know what? Let's speak. You can speak for this too. On the other side, my parents still love me. My family still love me. What they say about me behind my back, I don't hear, so I don't care. They still want to see me. They still want me in their life. So you can be wealthy and still be connected. And then your standards just change. And then you just don't tolerate the bullshit as much. And it's the better quality of life. So
Honestly, it's a permission slip, isn't it? It's a permission slip for them all to do what we're doing. And, you know, in the most generous way, well, we're able to be more generous. I feel like I'm able to be more present. Everyone in my environment benefits from me having more wealth. They do. It ripples out to everyone in my environment, my employees, everyone, you know, in my team, everyone benefits. And so, you know, even this morning, like, okay, this is going to sound snobby. My gardener was here planting some trees out there and I was off to get a coffee and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, obviously I'm going to check, does he want coffee? I'm going to bring him back an extra brownie. And I was like, here, have all the snacks. He's like, oh, amazing. But it's like, it's the mentality of, I just want to sprinkle love everywhere. I'm so grateful for everyone who is in my environment, who helps me, you know, run my life. And it's a beautiful place to be rather than a place of scarcity. So,
yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup. We've been conditioned to give from an empty cup. There's a bit of a mother wound, generational mother wound around that anyway, being female and a mother. But I can only pour from a full cup. We know this. We just don't think about it with money. Like, I give my cleaner a tip every single time because I was like, the more I pay her, the better job she's going to do. And I'm like, she has every opportunity to go earn more or do a different business, but this is what she wants to do. And I'm grateful. Like, I understand, like, make the coffee. Like, we want to give more. And I used to be the frugal, like, we went out for lunch, you owe me $5.65. Like, and this
Leading bills gives me hives. I'm like, I can't, please just take my card. You know, it's like that energy, that energy. I'm like, I will just be so happy. Let me pay for the table. Now everyone's going to always just be like, Michelle's got it. But the thing is that I don't like to see humans in that state. We ought not to be there, because truly, if money didn't exist, that wouldn't be what we were thinking about. We would be there enjoying the meal, ordering whatever we wanted on the menu, enjoying each other's company and conversation, and that's it. We wouldn't be analyzing prices and thinking about, is that person going to drink more than that person, and all this icky energy. It's like, no. So really, we want to just have so much abundance that we get to live as if money was not even a thing. Like, that's the irony of it all. Like, we learn about it and we embrace it so that we can live as if it was not even there. And that's truly what I'd love for all of us to have.
I know. It's like money's not even meant to be there. It's when it was created, was because to you have something of value, I have something of value. Back in the day, you just exchange. Like I make the bread, you have the eggs. There was exchange. A currency was created. So I actually think I remember learning this in history, like especially when the Australian, like, oh my gosh, you've taken me back. That's not where we're going to go. And I'm going to wrap this up soon, but I actually want to, I kind of have 2 questions for you. Let's try and keep on track with these. Super random, but like, this is like more personal, you don't have to answer this. I'm like putting you on the spot, but I'll openly share it. I don't think my family listens to my podcast, not throwing them under the bus anyway. But like, does any of your family, like siblings or parents, like, do they actually ask you for advice and take your advice? Does that happen?
Oh no. So here's the thing, everybody, get ready for this. When you are going through growth. Now, my family, my brothers and sisters have become extremely successful, all in our own right. Strangely enough, we all just did our own thing in our own way. And here we are sort of orbiting each other, but it wasn't going to necessarily work out that way. But no, they don't ask for advice. And when we started investing, trust me, you're going to hear it from absolutely everyone who's not doing what you're doing. They're gonna tell you you're being risky, it's dangerous. Have you thought about this? You're growing to get them. They're gonna want you to stay where you are. And they want that because they love you and they're in their way wanting to just keep you there so that it's predictable, they can keep you safe, all of that. They're worried if you go off and grow, you're gonna change or something like that.
They're gonna lose you. They're scared they're gonna lose you. Yeah.
And likely they'll come full circle. Even starting this business here, I just had all of my family saying, what are you doing? Like, you've already got like the wealth and you're putting your neck out, you're talking about money. And it's like, what are you doing? And, shouldn't you be spending more time with your kids? And I'm thinking, actually, I now have a full-time assistant. So whenever, apart from school holidays right now in this 1 hour, but as soon as it's 3:00, I'm there with my kids and I've got someone in the home to do the food, to do everything. So actually it's allowed me more time, more quality time with my kids. But I get it. But a year later, now they're seeing the impact I'm making. They're watching me at VIP days. They're watching me on podcasts and they're like, oh, I see what you're doing. I see your intention behind what you're doing. And you get the text message, I'm so proud of you. Like, you're amazing. Keep going. So we don't do it for that because we can't wait for those moments. We can't wait for the approval or the permission slip. It just may never come. We have to move first. But I would say, yes, your friends, your family, it just is what it is. You have to let them be because you're growing and you're changing and, things are going to move around you, but you've got to do what's right for you and they will come back when the time's right.
Love him so much. And I was like, let me just sit with you. Like, people pay for this coaching. I will sit with you and I'll get your finances organized, all the things. No, I'm fine. I'm just like,
you can help all your clients, right? And this is where it was bottling up in me that I wanted to have these conversations. And it's not your friends and your family that I want to hear it. It just is what it is. They can just watch and let it be. But there are women out there that you're absolutely helping. So yeah, well done for speaking up and getting the message out there.
Okay, is there any last piece of wisdom or advice or anything that you feel you want to leave with, that maybe something that really made a big footprint in your life or a big, tattooed your soul, that shifted you? Is there anything you'd love to share?
Well, I would just say it all comes down to co-creation, the way that I see things. You can have whatever you want, but it's going to require you to do the work to get it. Not only, like you say, the strategy, but energetically, if you say you want it, we need to behave in a way that would be congruent with you having it. So we don't want to be fighting ourselves internally. So understanding we can co-create. Absolutely. There's never been an easier time, I don't think, on this planet to have whatever you want. So I would say get really clear and do the inner work, spend time with yourself, spend time with your thoughts and your desires so that you can at least map a path to what you want so that we're going in that direction. And then I would say just be willing to do whatever you need to do to learn the things, the strategy, and I say the energetics, they have to be congruent. And then, yeah, you'll just find yourself in a completely new life. And if you've picked well and you've driven towards what you want, you're going to absolutely love it. So you're so worthy of it. Just do it, do the things.
Say that last bit on repeat until it becomes locked in the memory there. Thank you so, so much. Where can it, look, guys, go and look at the show notes. You can find all the links for Michelle anyway. But if you would tell it, if someone's like, where can I just connect with you right now, best place?
Yeah, honestly, DM me. I love chatting to women in my DMs. So Instagram's the platform, Michelle Rule Millionaire Maker. You'll find me loud and proud out on the gram talking about net wealth. So yeah, come DM me. I love to chat to you all.
Yes, go at least follow Michelle. Like, your content is incredible. I love it. I binge it.
You too, Queen, spreading the word, healing the relationships with money. I'm here for it. I love it. Absolutely. Boss.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kim Kent.